What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and as promised, I'm giving you guys an update on the press conference in London this morning. And Tyson Fury, I think he won as far as the pump up, you know what I mean? The build up, the trash talk. I think Tyson Fury got this one. So I think it's one on Tyson Fury, because he said something that was funny, Deontay Wilder said, "Bomb squad," and he said you could put an Arctic Arctic block in his mouth, you know, saying he had a big mouth, you know what I mean? And he said it the way he said it, which was funny. But I gotta add, I also seen Great Britain, Good Morning Great Britain, the show, and they were both on that show. And Tyson Fury had nothing but respect to say about. Deontay Wilder had nothing but respect to say about Tyson Fury, where he was, where he is now, and you got to take the hat off to him. And it was actually, it was cool. It was tranquil. And then, even the reporters were like, "Oh, man, you're giving him a lot of respect. Where's that mad Deontay we're talking about?" But then they asked, "What about the Joshua fight?" And then his whole demeanor changed. It was like, he was like, "You know what? I don't want to talk about Anthony Joshua. We tried 4 months to make that fight. You're a coward. You ain't got the nuts. You lied to people. You're a compulsive liar." And he went off. And even the reporters were like, "Whoa, there's a change. I mean, you had all the nice things to say about Fury, but you mentioned Joshua. I think that's your real guy." They were instigating. They played it right. That narrative was right. And then the questions they asked, it was awesome. They were like, "Okay, well, if Fury beats you, will you give him the opportunity to move on to fight Anthony Joshua since he's the other champion with the other belts?" And he was like, "Well, it's a fantasy fight, and I don't see why not." So that's a good sign, because if Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder, there shouldn't be any reason that he should fight him immediately. I think the rematch clause shouldn't be an immediate rematch clause. You know what I mean? So if that's the case, we will see. If Tyson beats Deontay, if he's a man of his word, he will let Tyson Fury go ahead and make that fight with Anthony Joshua to see who wins out of that. You know what I mean? So then we can see who ends up fighting Deontay Wilder later in the year. You know what I mean? That way, if Joshua beats Fury, okay, then Joshua and you could have a Joshua Deontay Wilder fight. But the way Wilder was talking, he was adamant on calling him a coward. Frank Warren said, "Hey, these are two. You had three best heavyweights, and these two, Fury and Deontay Wilder, were the only ones that had the nuts to make the fight." So yeah, they were sticking it in and breaking it off. That's basically what they were doing, man. And it was a good thing to see, And I like how those reporters, are good at instigating and asking certain questions that really fired that, because those would be the questions to ask about the future. You know what I mean? Of course, these guys are going to fight. Now, what happens after that? Where do they go from there? You know what I mean? And they're all involved. So it looks very promising. That's if, this goes down, because the only way I see the fight happening and the fight going to Joshua and Deontay, if those four of these guys get in the ring, is Tyson Fury beats him. And it might happen like that. It could happen, but I doubt it. But, that would be a good narrative, because you can obviously see Deontay Wilder is pissed off. You know what I mean? He says, "Hey, I don't want to talk about that fight," but he goes on for at least 2 minutes looking into the camera. Like, "Look at this camera. You a coward. All these people spent all this money for 4 months. You said one thing, y'all said y'all did another, and I'm tired. You a coward. I'm here in your own country." And I was like, wow. But it showed that the real fight really isn't. Because if I'm Tyson Fury, I'm like, well, dude, you going on and on about Joshua. But people know the real fight is between Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua, because that's the fight that people wanted to see. This is the substitute, okay? But it's a good substitute. It's probably the best substitute. And it's the other fight that can happen. So we should be happy about it to see what these guys do. But in the press conference, yeah, Fury won that trash talk. But in this conference, Deontay Wilder showed a whole different side, a whole different demeanor. Okay, and it was a trip. But anyway, just giving you guys an update on the press conferences. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys always been counterpunched. Peace.